Hi, this is Cheryl from Nobody's Art, and I thought I'd do a little quick video on what's going on since I haven't done one of these in ages. It's getting close to the end of the convention season. I've so far done 6 events this year, including an itty bitty little steampunk fair. They've all done really well. I did Vermont Comic Con last week and it was fantastic. And I got, where is he? This little guy. Isn't he adorable? Wolf Blair Creations. Wolf Blair. I'll have a link in the description of the video because they're just so cute. He's got actual little chainmail on. It's great. It's a husband and wife team that does that. The wife creates little dragons and the husband does the chainmail, and they're fantastic. I love their work. I originally saw this at Massive Comic Con back in June. They had a red one, and I looked at it all weekend and didn't manage to grab it before they broke down and left. So, I finally got and I got them in blue, which is even better than the red. Okay, so, aside from me squeaking about new little plushies for my collection, I have a plushie collection. It's ridiculous. I have dragons, I have octopus, I have everything. Sculptures. So the Lady of Innsmouth is coming along. I actually have the first few of the cold cast bronze. This is one of them. Let's see if I can get straight in the camera. There we go. Bring her up close. So these are they're turning out fantastic. I've done 3 others. The patina on those I didn't like quite as much. I think it's just that I didn't leave them long enough for the patina to develop before I polished and clear coated. So they still look great. They just don't have as much of the nice green patina that this one does. But I've learned my lesson, and the rest of them will be left to sit at least, 2 days to develop, not just the overnight. Oh my, look at how that green brings out the detail in the tentacles. It's just, I'm so happy with how these turned out. So if you don't know much about cold cast bronze, what it is you mix a tintable resin. You can use any type of resin, but it's better if you use ones that is either black or that you can tint. Either tinted black or tinted brown. This is actually tinted. Oh look, it's got my signature and number 1 because it's the very first one. Tinted black. What I did is I mixed it up, and it's about 1 part bronze to 1 part A of the resin, 1 part B of the resin. If you were doing a resin that doesn't have 50-50 mix ratio, then you'd want to do half as much bronze as mixed resin. Some people do 50-50 mix of resin and bronze. I found that it's not necessary. You get just as nice a result with using the 1/3. And I hand rotocast these, so what I do is I mix up, it's about 3 ounces total. So 2 ounces of resin, 1 ounce by volume, 1 ounce by volume of bronze. It's actually something like 3 ounces by weight, but I do all my measurements for the resin by volume, so I do the bronze by volume. And I was talking about the 1/3 bronze. I do mean by volume, not by weight, because the bronze is really heavy. Even though I have that 1 ounce by volume of resin, and so 3 ounces volume is what I pour into the mold. So it goes, the mold's usually like this, pour the resin in, and then I rotate the mold over and over until the resin gels, so that's not moving anymore inside. And then I mix up more of the resin with black pigment and pour that in, backfill it, and as you can see, she's signed. All of the bronzes will be signed and numbered. This is number 1, obviously. Patina it. Actually, give it a quick brush with steel wool, really quick. It's just to get the bronze, to get resin off the surface. It's so you want to get so it's mostly bronze on the surface. Then spray it with the patina. It's Tiffany green patina is what I use. There's a lot of other colors, and I'm trying to think if my patina is in the room. It's not. It's downstairs. It's Tiffany green patina by Sculpt Nouvelle. Really beautiful color. I love it. And if you're hearing jingling, that is Daisy's collar. She's moving around. It's a beautiful blue-green patina, which works really well because she's so sea-themed. So yeah, the quick hit with steel wool, blow it off with compressed air, either the little canisters or air compressor, which I have to use the canisters right now because my air compressor died. So I can't actually airbrush until I can get a new air compressor to be able to fill my portable air tank. You want to hit it with the compressed air to get all the little bits of steel wool that come off when you're rubbing it down, because otherwise, see if I can find a good spot on here, right in there you can see rust. Now I think it looks really cool, but it wasn't what I intended. I just wanted the green, I didn't want any rust patina. But that comes from leaving little bits of steel wool behind. And then when I hit it with the patina, it oxidizes the bronze and it oxidizes the steel. So you want to hit with compressed air if you're rubbing with steel wool first. I really should get some of that synthetic sort of Scotch-Brite type steel wool substitute that won't leave any residue. But I don't have it, so I just have regular steel wool. And then after the patina sets, then I go back in with steel wool and give it a really good polish, and even a buffing wheel to really bring out the color of the metal, which I don't know if that's really showing up on camera or not. It really does have really beautiful bronze sheen to it, I don't know if the camera's picking it up. And then sealed. Again, with lessons were learned. She turned out beautiful. She was sprayed first with matte sealant, and then with a really light coat of gloss. The other 3 I did, I only did the gloss, and it ended up being too glossy, so from now on it will be the matte, then a very light coat of gloss just to bring out the sheen. But yeah, I'm really happy with how these turned out. In other projects, I had leftover silicone from making the molds for the Lady Vinsmith. The Smooth On has brush-on silicone kits. They're fantastic. You can get some pretty good sized molds out of them. I bought 2 kits, and I got 2 molds for the Lady Vinsmith out of the 2 kits, plus the molds for this, which is the Embrace of the Deep. And I still have about half of a jar of the silicone left, so I can make another good sized mold. These are completely hollow cast. This one is painted. It's not, unlike the Lady Vinsmith, you can see the difference here. This is cold cast bronze, so it's got real bronze in it. This is just painted resin. It's painted matte black and then brushed on with a bronze Pearl-Ex powders mixed with acrylic medium, and then sealed to clear coat. So you can see this is the painted, this is the plain gray resin. Both of these are available on Etsy. They are $70 for the painted one and $60 for the unpainted. I'm really hoping some people grab the unpainted ones because I would love to see what people do with these, with the painting. Same with the Lady Vinsmith. Once all the Kickstarter backers get theirs, when I actually have the white unpainted resin Lady Vinsmith available. Really excited to see what people do with that. Either, people buy it on Etsy, or of course my Kickstarter backers, who were wonderful. They've been really patient because this production has been really long. We've had a few setbacks. Again, I mentioned the air compressor died. It completely fried. I was running it to fill up my air tank, and all of a sudden it kind of spluttered and stopped, and I could smell hot melting plastic. That's never a good thing. So it's dead, and I need to buy a new one. I also ran out of mold release, which is really important when you're casting. So I've ordered more. It should be arriving soon, along with some other goodies for upcoming projects. I don't have these sculpted yet, but this is what's in my mind. On the recommendation of Eric from SHOGGOTH Assembly, who do, if you're not familiar with SHOGGOTH Assembly, they do amazing effects pieces, masks, and rubber hands and severed fingers, and all sorts of cool stuff. He had some Cthulhu idols that he did with a stone effect that you mix in with resin, and it looked really cool, and he recommended I get some to try it out. So that is in my resin order, and I'm looking forward to sculpting some stuff and working with that. I also ordered some more silicone for doing block molds, and arriving sometime this week should finally be a vacuum chamber. So I should stop fighting bubbles and everything. Yeah, it's been obviously a really busy few months. I'm really looking forward to what I'm doing. The whole Kickstarter thing, doing Lady of Innsmouth, it kind of jump-started my art in a way that I didn't imagine it would. I've been able to invest in materials and equipment that I otherwise couldn't afford, like a vacuum chamber. That's not an inexpensive thing to buy. Replace equipment that needs to be replaced, like, my 10-year-old air compressor that was going to be replaced anyway, and then it died. An air tank, so I don't actually have to run an air compressor while I'm airbrushing. It's given me new ideas. It's connected me with people that have been giving me feedback. So yeah, it's been great. If you're a creator and you've been wondering if you should do Kickstarter, um, try it. Sometimes you won't make your goal, sometimes you will, but if you do, um, after it takes over your life for a month, because it will take over your life, at least for the month that you're, because most Kickstarter campaigns are about a month. While your Kickstarter campaign is going, it takes over your life, but it is so worth it, just for everything that's done for me since, beyond the Lady of Innsmouth. Increased confidence in my work, and knowing that, there were almost 60 people who were so excited about my work that they pitched money in for something that hadn't been completely produced yet. That is, as an artist, something that it just feels amazing, and it kind of revitalizes you when you're kind of feeling like, where do I go? Because I was at a point where I was feeling kind of stuck. I, was selling the jewelry, and I had a few sculptures, but I haven't been doing a lot with sculpture because I was always thinking, the jewelry brings in money, and while I love making it, it's not my passion the way sculpting bigger pieces are. But now I know people do get excited about my bigger pieces, and it's amazing. So the link to the not the Lady of Innsmouth, the link to the Embrace of the Deep on Etsy will be in the description for the video. And we're probably still looking at a mid to late October shipping for most of the Kickstarter stuff. We're probably actually looking into November for the full painted Ladies of Innsmouth. But things are coming along. After everything goes out via Kickstarter, then the Lady of Innsmouth in both the unpainted, painted, and cold cast bronze will be going up on Etsy. Probably the white and cold cast bronze first, because the painted ones are going to take forever. Prices on those, the white resins will be $80. I'm looking at about $175 to $185 for the bronzes, and probably about $200 for the full painted ones. that's subject to pit change. I'm still working on it on exact pricing for on Etsy because I also have to price out shipping, and especially for international orders. If you're outside the US, the bronzes are heavier than I expected. The white ones are 10.5 ounces. The bronze ones are almost 14. So yeah, the 1 ounce by volume of bronze powder is really heavy. These have a really good heft for them, even with, you know, the layer of bronze being about 1/8 of an inch or so. They have a really good heft. Okay, I have 2 more events coming up this fall, and those are the last 2 for the year. Portland Comic Expo. It's a 1-day event in Portland, Maine on October 25th. And the next weekend, Halloween weekend, so the 30th and the 31st, is Bangor Fest in Bangor, Maine, and I'm really looking forward to it because it's a horror-themed convention, and I've never done one of those. I was at Necronomicon in August, which was amazing. I should do a whole video on how amazing Necronomicon was, but I probably won't, because I hate doing these where I just talk to the camera. So Necronomicon, being a very Lovecraft and literary focused convention, is going to be very different from one that's straight up horror and horror movies and costumes and people coming in and trick-or-treating at tables, which I entirely expect to have happen. I will have Halloween candy for anyone who brings kids. If you're an adult in a costume and you trick-or-treat at my table, I'll probably give you candy too. So that's it. Goodbye. Thank you for watching what is probably going to be a much longer video than I expected, even after I edit it down. So yeah, goodbye from me, and little dragon here, and Jingly Collar, who is completely asleep. So I can't say Daisy say goodbye, but goodbye.